Hi guys, hi, hello, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my haul in retrospect for the months of March and April. So these videos are about the products that I brought into my life last year at this time, and whether this was smart purchasing decisions or no. How do I feel about those products today? And like gives us some insight into our really just our spending habits. Well, mine. Mine anyways, maybe not yours, but I encourage you, if you are not doing this and if you are anywhere near the beauty enthusiast that I am, I know that you are because you're here watching, do this. Like, what you are spending on makeup really comes into perspective when you are looking at what you spent in the previous year and what you brought in versus spend, what you're using versus spend. So with that being said, if you're new here, hi, my name is Donna. So happy to have you here today. I am a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a district leader for Ulta. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education through things like haul in retrospect, hauls, declutter, shop my stashes, project pans, and things like reviews. I do a lot of reviews here on this channel, but I also just like to chit chat about makeup. And again, if you are here, you also like to chit chat about makeup or listen to it anyway. I hope that you will find that this brings some solace to your soul in the way that it brings mine some solace, and that you'll want to subscribe before you go. With that said, let's roll into this haul in retrospect. Again, we're going over the items that I picked up in March and April of last year. In March of last year, I ended up getting offered an ambassador or like an affiliate, I guess, for Mellow Cosmetics. Now, the reason why I'm saying I guess is because I have a code. It's down in my description box. You can use it if you want, but I purchased the products that I got from Mellow Cosmetics with a heavy discount. So what would typically cost the normal person, say, $150, I got it for like $60, say. Okay, like I don't remember what the shirt, but I'll link the video up in the cards for you so that you guys can get it. So with that said, these were not PR products. They were not sent to me for free. I did purchase them, but I do have a code that you can use, and it is always down in my description box, that will also get you a discount, but also earns me commission. So I don't really know how to go about this because I'm not getting PR from this brand, but I do have a code. So that's an affiliate. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. That video has had so many people on it telling me that I'm wrong, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that they were scammed, but I assure you that code in my description box works for you on Mellow Cosmetics. You don't even have to use the link that I put down there. If you go to mellowcosmetics.com and use that code, it gets you a percentage off and I get a commission from it. So with that said, like, I don't care. It's neither here nor there. I don't do this for money. I do this for fun. And obviously, I'm not making any money at it, and here I am 5 years later still doing it. So I don't give a shit. I truly don't. But with that said, I did bring some items from Mellow Cosmetics into my collection last year in March. So the items that I brought to my collection from Mellow Cosmetics in March were these guys here. I got a lip pencil from them, and this is in the shade Ava. Like, this is a really nice lip pencil. It's very creamy, I felt like, but I have to be honest, this is not necessarily my favorite color. It's very kind of bubblegummy pink, and therefore I don't use it very often. I did pull it into a Shop My Stash recently. I do find that the formula is really nice. I just don't love this color. This liquid lipstick, I haven't even used. So last year we were still masking in addition to the fact that I don't wear lipstick very often in the first place, and I certainly wear liquid lipstick far less than that. Because of that, I'm not going to open it, because once you open a liquid lipstick, like, their lifespan dramatically decreases. But with that said, this is a really beautiful pale pink, and I could see myself enjoying it once I do open it. Maybe I will pull it into a Shop My Stash. These are the baked eyeshadows that I brought in. Now I know this one looks quite a bit different, but if you watch that video, you will see when I opened the box, this one was shattered. So I did pull out any remnants that I could from the shadow and put it into its own pan and just kind of reformulate it, I guess. I will say that I don't like it much in this reformulation that I had to make to get some use out of this product, so it doesn't see a whole lot of usage. This guy though, this is a really beautiful, and I know it doesn't look like I've used it, but this is a really beautiful, like, kind of green tone metallic. It is so pretty. It is in the shade Olive. It's really pretty. I love it. I have a hard time reaching for the single eyeshadows in my collection. Do you all have a hard time reaching for single eyeshadows in your collection as well? I know some of us are more single eyeshadow heavy than we are like palette heavy. I happen to be more palette heavy, and I reach for palettes all the time. The one thing that I don't like now about this formulation, now that I've had to like repress it, is it just feels very stiff, and it actually isn't as shiny as it was once upon a time. I do love the color of it. I can't remember what the shade name is, and I didn't write it on the bottom of the, you know, component that I put it into. It does have a little bit of lavender lean to it, which I really like, but it's, again, just a single eyeshadow that I don't think much about in terms of my makeup collection. My singles get far less use in my collection than I at one time had hoped that they would. So, as a matter of fact, that's what keeps me from taking like shades out of a palette and moving them into, like, tearing the palette apart and depotting those shadows and putting them into a magnetic palette, because I will use the shadow if it's in a palette, but once it becomes like a single in my collection, it's like makeup graveyard, if that makes any sense. It's very sad. So I also got a quad, and this quad, just the packaging of it reminds me a lot of Charlotte Tilbury, but again, I have swatched this, but I haven't used it. Quads is just not something, again, that I pull for in my collection. I have to focus on certain parts of my collection. Quads are one of those. Minis are one of those. I have a lot of really great quads. I do want to try this. Maybe I'll pull some quads into a palette roulette one week and just do like 5 different quads. I've thought about that a couple of times, so this might get some usage that way. I haven't used this at all. A couple other things I haven't used at all from that same haul is this Mellow Blush. This is in the shade Pink. I mean, it looks pretty. I do think that it would be beautiful. I don't know. I have so much stuff, you guys, that I just haven't used it. And then this is a liquid eyeshadow. Again, not going to open it up because liquids and creams, once you open them up, like, their shelf life just completely disintegrate. It's called a glitter chrome eyeshadow, and it is in the shade Champagne. I think that you guys can see just how beautiful that would be, but I haven't used it. The last thing I got was this, and this is the Stardust Glow palette by them, and I actually quite like this. I have used all the shades in here. I think the highlighters are very beautiful. I think the blush is really pigmented, really beautiful, maybe just a smidge bit too pigmented for me, but it also looks really beautiful on the skin. And I think that the bronzer is a little more of a neutral toned blush than it is actually a bronzer. It actually, on me, pulls very rosy, so I use it as blushes and highlights, and I really like them. They're very pigmented, very nice, very not, I wouldn't say necessarily finely milled, but they don't also exacerbate any kind of texture that you have on your face. And it makes me want to pull for the other products in this collection that I haven't tried yet because I just haven't. I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily good spend or bad spend. I have used quite a few of the products, but I also have not used quite a few of the products. So I would say I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but reminding myself that the reason for that purchase was because I got an affiliate link for them, so for you. So I fell in love with Mellow Cosmetics through BoxyCharm. Actually, I learned about them through BoxyCharm. I had, I think, an eyeshadow and an eyebrow pencil from them, maybe even an eyeliner from them that I got in BoxyCharm, and I really like them. They have got some really wonderful products. They're just very natural, and I'm not natural. Natural is not where I tend to lean. So the next thing I have in the list are a couple things from Ulta. So I did get the Morphe 35S Sweet Oasis palette in the month of March. You know, and I don't know why the hell I did this purchase. This looks not used. I have actually used it quite a bit. I had it in a palette roulette at one point in time, and I will put it up in the cards for you. It's a decent palette. I would say that it just very much leans into a realm that I don't dabble in a whole lot. These bottom two rows are more me colors than these top three rows. So there's a whole giant section of this palette that really will see very little use in my collection, in addition to the fact that this is Morphe. And while I can make anything work, I don't like Morphe. I don't like their eyeshadows. I think that they're actually kind of crap. I don't like the wear time on them. I just don't like Morphe. I'm allowed to not like Morphe, and I'm sorry I'm sorry if you do and you disagree with me wholeheartedly. We can still be friends. We can. I just don't like Morphe. It just won't see a whole lot of, I have palettes that I prefer. As a matter of fact, one of the palettes that's coming up has a lot of the shades that this palette has in a formula that I love. So it has seen use. I just don't know that this is, you know, $28 or $32 or however much it cost at that time, money that I should have spent. I also, at that point in time, purchased this. This is the Becca Moonstone. So Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors are one of my favorite highlighter formulas because they just go on so beautifully. They're super finely milled. There's not like any like chunkiness to them or glitter to them. They're just a really beautiful luminizer for your face. They're really, really great for aging or mature skin. They're really, really great for textured skin. Not that I have like a whole lot of texture, but I do have aging skin. I'm 45 years old. The Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors, they are one of my favorites for sure. This one I got, it is in the shade Moonstone. I haven't even worn it. I have something like 125 highlighters in my collection. That is a problem. This is why that is a problem. I have a couple of, I think I have one more highlighter coming up that I also purchased in March and haven't used. This has been in my collection for over a year and I haven't used it. This is a problem. I tell people I don't have problems. I have collections. That is true, but you need to use your stuff too. I do believe I got that half price at Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, so I don't feel as bad for spending like, what, $19 on it versus the $38 that it would normally cost, but I still feel kind of stupid for bringing something into my collection that I know that I will love and not using it. I also purchased the KVD Everlasting Blush in Rosebud. I have had my eyeballs on this blush formula since before it was KVD Vegan Beauty, before it was KVD Kendall, when it was Kat Von D. This is the first purchase I made of KVD products after they came into Ulta. And I am really super stoked to have this blush. This is one of my favorite blushes in my, I know it looks very unused, but it's one of my favorite blushes. I love the tone of this blush. I also just really love how silky smooth it is and how easy it is just to blend this out. It is just such a beautiful powder, and it has this really like kind of orchidy like purple tone to it, but doesn't make it look like a bruise on my face. The last thing I picked up from Ulta during March of last year was an Urban Decay Moonstone shadow. These were not part of what was on sale at Ulta for 21 Days of Beauty. Neither was this, by the way, but these were like earn extra points for purchasing them or something like that. And I had just tried out the Urban Decay Moonstone palette that I picked up at TJ Maxx and loved it. So I decided to get a single Moonstone shadow that I knew I was going to love just because of the color of it. And, you know, while I may not use this a whole lot, you guys, it's just so pretty. Like, I could not, and it's got this really like rusty brown colored base, so it looks good on just about any eye look that you put it on. I mean, it wouldn't look good probably on this eye look, but because this eye look is blue and green and pastel and purple, but it looks good on just about any like even neutral eye look I put it on. I love this. I've used it 100,000 times. So these two products were good spend. Of the products that I purchased at Ulta, I used 3 and did not use 1. So I would say that that was a decent purchase decision, I guess, right? Is that where I'm going? Sorry if the light just changed. The sun is coming through. It looks crazy right now, but then I spent some money at Fabfitfun. They have an edit sale. I saw some products on the edit sale that I really wanted to get my hands on. I picked up the Ace Beauty Blossom palette. I also have a palette roulette on this. This isn't my favorite, like red and pink toned palette. I would have to say like my Beauty Bay New Romantic is one of my favorites, and this definitely doesn't beat it, but this is also their old formula. So I would be interested to see what their new formula is like, because this wasn't a horrible palette. It's not my favorite formula, but it wasn't a horrible palette. As a matter of fact, I'll stick an eye look up here. This was my absolute favorite eye look that came out of this palette, and it came out of this palette. So like when I say I would be interested to see what their new formula is like, it's because their old formula didn't do me dirty. I had a really good time with it and was able to accomplish what I wanted to out of this palette. So the other one that I picked up was the Ace Beauty Flair palette. I have a palette roulette on this one as well. This is such a beautiful fall tone palette. And again, if they put this into the new formula, I would be anxious to see what that new formula is like, because I had a good time with this palette. I love the color story of this palette. Love the color story of this palette. This is not such a fantastic color, but it's very reminiscent of what's on the top in my eye look today. And I think they all just kind of perform like that, honestly. So I think that it's a beautiful palette. I had a great time with it. Really great spend, in my opinion. Then I purchased also a few things from Kaja. I got like 3 different items from Kaja for like 20 bucks. And one of those items was a brown and cream colored bento box, you know, with the 3 shadows on the inside. The reason why I'm showing it to you like this is because I actually purchased that and gave it to a friend as a gift. Actually my business partner, I gave it to her as a gift. So I don't have that. It wasn't a purchase for my collection, but I do have these. I have the Kaja Moon Crystal Liquid Eyeshadow. I hated this. It's already been decluttered out of my collection. As a matter of fact, to put it in this video, I had to go dig it out of the declutter bin, so didn't love this. And then I have this, which is their Mochi Glow highlighter, and this one is in the shade Toy Alien. And I think that you can probably tell I haven't used it. This is the other highlighter in my collection. When I was talking about the Becca one, that I was like, I just have way too many. I just have way too many. Unless I make a very conscious effort to pull something in, I won't use it. And I didn't start doing shop my stashes until last year, and I was only rotating through like every couple months, and these were not on my agenda to get used last year because they were new to my collection. So maybe I'll pull them into a shop my stash this year, but as of currently, those 2 highlighters have not been used. And then I also got this. This is the Capari Lip Glossy, and this is in Birthday Suit, I do believe. Yeah, Birthday Suit. I actually don't love this. I don't know why I don't love this. I like the formula of it. I think I just maybe have the wrong like shade. I love a good lip balm, and I love a good lip balm that's also got a little bit of glossiness to it and a little bit of glow. I just, honestly, I feel like this one has maybe too much. I felt like I was wearing highlighter lips. So I gave it to my daughter. It is a really good lip gloss. She really likes it. I like the formula of it. I just think that I need a different one. So of the products that I picked up at the Fabfitfun, you know, edit sale, I've used almost all of them. I have used all of them. Well, I've used all but one product, and I have decluttered two. So I mean, really, there's only like goodness in two of the products that I purchased from that edit sale. So was it smart? Maybe, maybe not. I think that I will love this. And I think that I did find out that I do like this formula. This was just the wrong shade for me. So I would purchase another Capari Lip Glossy. This is the only thing that I didn't love. So the bright shining stars of my March haul were these guys. And these are the Natasha Denona 28 pan eyeshadow palettes. These had been on my like bucket buying list for years. And I purchased them for like a really, really great discount. She often has bundles that she will sell for a discounted price. And then I also had an additional percentage off that she was running at that time, I think for Easter. And so I purchased both, and I got both of them for less than $300. And I think they are like $258 or something like that a piece. Of the two, I do have palette roulette on this one. This is the purple blue. Love it. It's Natasha Denona. She's my favorite. In case you're new here, I have almost all of her palettes up there on that palette caddy. This one I haven't used. And I just don't know why I haven't used it. It's the green brown. I am going to pull it into a palette roulette very, very soon because I do love Natasha Denona. But I have so many Natasha Denona palettes, and I continue to bring more into my collection that I have to kind of space them out. So while I love that one and will use that one and will love that one just as much, I'm sure I haven't used it. So that $300, you know, whatever dollar purchase it was after tax and shipping, I think it was $310 after tax and shipping. I've only used half of the items that I purchased. So was it smart? Maybe, maybe not. What I purchased in April was far less than what I purchased in March. I don't really know why or what was going on because the Sephora sale was going on. So you'd think it'd be more, but it just wasn't. That's okay. I'm not mad at it. So in April, I had purchased a Cinema Secrets. Oh my gosh, the lighting in here, you guys. I promise you that is the sunshine. That is not my lights. I don't really know what to do about it because I don't have anything to cover the windows and I kind of am in a fishbowl here. So I do apologize. What do we do? There we go. Change the white balance on the camera. We'll see. Does that work? You tell me. I hope so because I can't do anything about the sun. I can't remember what I was saying. So, oh, Cinema Secrets. It does an amazing job of cleaning everything and doesn't damage brushes, and it has a pretty decent smell to it, honestly. I purchase probably 2 a year. I go through one every 6 months or so. I also was in a cream blush mood, so I did purchase 2 cream blushes. I have the Fenty Cheeks Out cream blush in Rose Latte. I have used this. I like this blush, but I find that this blush did not last as long as I thought it should based on my experiences with Patrick Ta's cream blush. And I think that I just really haven't given my cream blushes a fair shake because of Patrick Ta. Patrick Ta gave the other blushes in my collection a bad name for themselves because his is so awesome. I do love the shade of this, and it's got a nice stiff formula, so it's not hard to work with. It blends out really, really nicely, but it also doesn't get everywhere. This one by Rare Beauty, this is the Rare Beauty Nearly Mauve. I find that this is a blush, a cream blush formula that's so soft. that I have a harder time with it because I find that it wants to go everywhere and not just really stay where I want it to on my face. It travels a little bit, I feel like. I am going to try it again before I decide to declutter it out of my collection. As a matter of fact, I have a cream blush collection and declutter coming up on my channel. You will see this blush like swatched out and this blush swatched out. This one I feel like is a color that is unique in my collection, and because of that I want to hang on to it. I just need to figure out how to more properly use this formula. This formula, I feel like you could stick your finger in and go clear to the bottom of the pan, kind of swish around, stick it on your face, but then it travels everywhere on my face too, and it doesn't have even the lasting power that this one does. So I don't know. I'm going to try it again. I love the container of this guy. It is super, super cute. Then I also bought 2 skin tints. So this is the Fenty Ease Drops. This became in very, very short time my favorite skin tint. Like, some of my favorites are like the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue is one of my favorites, but it's kind of got this like jelly consistency to it that's very strange, and I have to put it on with my fingers. If you guys know me, you know I hate touching I hate touching makeup with my fingers. So that one kind of drives me a little bit bonkers. I also really love Smashbox Halo. Amazing skin tint. It's a little lighter coverage than this has, but it does have a nice coverage to it. But it's also very halo-y. It's also very shiny, so it's very dewy. And I feel like it only works for me during certain parts of the year where my skin is a little bit more dry and not like where I'm sweating a whole lot. This works all the time. I tested it out in spring, summer, fall, and winter this last year. I love it so much, and I feel like it's almost gone. I will be repurchasing this, but I can purchase it at Ulta now. The other one that I purchased, this really isn't, I guess, a skin tint, but this is the Dior Face and Body. Now, I purchased this because I had heard such wonderful, wonderful things about this as a foundation, and I have to agree. I think it is a phenomenal foundation. It moves with your face, breathes with your skin. It's just such a beautiful second skin, if that makes any sense. You can barely tell that you're wearing anything on your skin with this or this on your face, only this has got a more medium type coverage. This has got a really good amount of coverage, but this is more of a foundation than that is, in my opinion. That's like a blurring, makes your skin look airbrush kind of thought process. This really doesn't make your skin look airbrush, but also does, if that makes any sense. The greatest part about this is it's called Face and Body because it doesn't transfer. It goes nowhere, and it feels like nothing on your skin, which is weird to me, but it doesn't seep into fine lines and wrinkles and leave like those, you know, like rivers of foundation in your wrinkles. I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't have any wrinkles, none whatsoever. It's just really beautiful. I would repurchase this 100,000 times too. I still have a good amount of this left, but when it comes down to it, when it is empty, I will repurchase it for my collection. And then I also purchased 3 palettes. So this was at the Sephora sale. Obviously, all these came to me through the Sephora sale. And I purchased one Huda Beauty palette. This is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. This was something that I purchased because I have one subscriber in particular that we talked about this incessantly in my comment section. So finally I was just like, I'm going to purchase it. I'm going to try it out. Now, Huda Beauty for me has been a long withstanding makeup brand that I love, but I also hate all at the same time. Like, the consistency of her shadows is horrible. You cannot, one shadow to the next, no matter what, like a matte is not a matte is not a matte in her formulations. A matte is this one time and this the next time. The consistency of her shadows is shit, but her shimmers in this palette are holy shit. I would swatch them for you, but I literally have 15 other videos to record today, and I do not want to look like a disco ball, which is what I would look like after swatching these. But I do encourage you to go look at the palette roulette that I did for this palette. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I will continue to use it because it is beautiful. The Natasha Denona Circle Loco palette. Like, knowing me, knowing who I am, like, you would think that I got along with this. I absolutely didn't. I don't love this palette. I also don't hate this palette, but it is definitely in the bottom 5 for me when it comes to Natasha Denona. I just didn't love it. It's got, you know, 4 mattes and the 5 mattes. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one are considered mattes. This one and this one, I do believe, are her creamed powder formula, and this one did not work so hot. So I felt like you need, oh, and this one is also a matte, but also a creamed powder, and it also did not. So the 2 shadows that I really wanted to work didn't really work for me. And then, I don't know, I just had a really, really rough time with this palette. I do love the color story of it. And of course it's Natasha Denona. She is a formula that I really, really love. But these creamed powders and this palette felt different to me. They felt a lot more like the creamed powders that were in the cranberry palette way back when than they did the creamed powders that are in the Metropolis palette, if that makes any sense. So I didn't really have a great time with this palette. Again, I have a palette roulette on it. Please go watch that. And then I also had purchased the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This was the 3rd time I had purchased this Glam palette. Once was for a gift for a friend. Once was because a friend asked me to purchase it for her and she paid me. And then once was mine. So I made a joke in that video that Sephora was probably wondering what the hell I was doing with all these Glam palettes I kept like busting through. But this is also a palette that I didn't have a fantastic time with. And for me, it was nothing more than the fact that it only has 5 mattes in it. So these 2 here and these 3 here are the only mattes. I felt like anything I did with this palette looked almost the exact same. Now, does it have beautiful colors? Yes. Standalone, it is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. I feel like this palette could have been a 9-pan, if I'm honest. And I think that's why I didn't have a good time with it. I do feel like it's a beautiful palette. I do feel like it has a beautiful, you know, formulation. It is a palette I truly do enjoy for the one shadow look that you can get from this because of those 5 mattes. That is why I didn't get along with that palette. With that said, this probably lands in the bottom 10 of the, you know, 20-something palettes that I have from Natasha Denona. So it's not really a least favorite, but it's also definitely not a favorite. Yeah, so you guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. That is my haul in retrospect for March and April of last year. The products that I picked up last year, how I feel about them today, a year later, whether I've used them all or not. I feel like the purchases that I made in April were so smart. I used every single one of those products. Did I love every single one of those products? No, but I do think that I purchased them with the intent of loving them. So I think that I didn't waste my money on any of those products. The products that I purchased in March could be, you know, we could go either way with this. Did I spend the money? Yes. Have I used every single one of the products? Absolutely not. Have I loved every single one of the products? No. The ones that I have used, there's been a couple that have already been decluttered out of my collection. So I still think I have some work to do on spending, you know, practices in my collection, but I think I'm getting smarter. And I think that I'm getting smarter because I'm doing these kind of videos. But with that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section. I hope that you'll want to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you go so that you're notified every single time I upload. I would love to welcome you into this family, so be sure to let me know if you subscribe. With that said, you guys, I hope that April has been treating you all kindly. I hope that you and yours are well, that you're safe, that you're healthy, that you're getting along as best you can in this crazy, chaotic world that we live in right now, although it is so close to back to normalcy for us anyways over here, that it warms my heart. I hope that you all are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.